Alright, welcome back. This is part 2 of this tutorial from Music Guy Online on how to create a band website for your music. And we're using WordPress. In the first half, we got started with setting up the website itself, registering the domain, getting hosting, all the kind of behind the scenes technical stuff. This is a bit more fun now that we get to more design the look and feel of our website using WordPress. And I'm picking up right where we left off in the last one. I just went ahead and put in all of the database information that we made in the first half. I clicked Let's Go, and this is the next screen you'll see. It's gonna pretty much one button click install WordPress for you on your website. And now we have our site title. Go Relative Youth. I'm sticking with the Relative Youth site that we're building up here. And different than the username and password that you had for your database earlier, this is for your WordPress account itself. So anytime you need to sign into your WordPress account to make changes, to make a new post, make a news post, make a page, anything like that, you'll need this information to sign in. And everyone related in the music project can share this, or you can create multiple different users and even give them different permissions. But right now I'm going to stick with admin, and I'm just going to write password. The worst password on earth. Do not use this password. In fact, it's so bad that you have to tick this box that says confirm use of weak password. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put admin@relativeyouth.com. And you can go ahead and set up an email in your hosting account as well for your music. You can make as many as you want with most hosting providers, and it looks a lot better than just having a Gmail or one of those kind of accounts associated with it. So go ahead and you can create that in the hosting account in cPanel, as many email addresses as you want for everyone involved in the project, and then just go ahead and put in whichever one that you want as your email here. And then definitely do not tick this discourage search engines from indexing the site. We definitely want search engines to index the site, and we want people to be able to find our site. So we're going to leave that unticked, and we're going to hit install right here. And I'm going to save that. It's fine as is. So in the background, it's now populating that database that we made in the last video, and we're all set to go. Let's go ahead and log in. Just type password, just click remember me. And obviously this is just for the demo. I'm going to go back and change everything to the complex passwords I had before after this, but for the purposes of this demo, we'll keep it simple. Alright, so this is the dashboard of your WordPress interface. You'll be seeing a lot of this every time you sign in. You can change the look of what it looks like when you sign in, but they really have everything signed up for you, or set up for you, I should say, in terms of getting started here and everything that you need. You'll see this control panel over here on the left. This is where you're going to do everything from. So if you want to make a new news post, then you want to go ahead and use this post link section right here. So you can see all your posts, you can add a new one, and let's just click that right now. And you'll see it comes every installation of WordPress with one default post. And if we just go ahead and create a new tab right here, just by clicking the name of our site, you see it makes a new tab, and this is what our site looks like right now. Pretty bland. This is the default kind of theme that comes with WordPress. I think it's WordPress 2020 at the time of this video. They put out a new one every year, but don't be deceived by the bland look of it. It's very customizable. That said, let's take a look at some other themes in just a moment. But let's go ahead and we can trash this original post right here. And now you'll see we have no post. And if we refresh after getting rid of that, you'll see that post just disappeared, and we have really nothing going on here. See, we have archives, categories, and meta sections right there. These are all basically called widgets in WordPress. And if we go down to the Appearance tab and click Widgets right here, you can see right here, they consider this section in this theme in WordPress. They call this the footer section. So that's all this right here. This would basically appear underneath any post that we have. So we can go ahead and clear these out if we want. You can see all the available widgets that we can drop in here if we would like. So you can have like an image gallery if you want, any custom HTML. You can have a calendar of your site's posts. You can even have an audio player, which can be good, obviously, for musicians. I prefer to embed other players, like from third-party sites like Bandcamp and things like that, but they have that as an option. So there's a lot of options here. I like keeping the search widget because, you know, if people have that handy, they can certainly search for anything and all content on your site just with that one search bar. Something else to mention is the custom HTML tab, which is nice. And this is, I'm gonna close this. This is just drag and drop simple. And the custom HTML is nice because you can use it for a lot of different uses. I mention it because I talk a lot about the importance of email marketing. I don't want to get off on a big tangent here, but you can use a service like MailChimp, which is completely free, to create an email list for anyone who comes to your site. So they can you can create a form which has an email sign-up form right there, and fans can put in their email, and you can maybe send them like a free song or something like that to kind of incentivize them to sign up. But email is definitely the best way to correspond with your fans. It's the best way to develop a relationship with your fans, and you'll find that you have the greatest success and conversion rate, that is people interacting with you and your music and any links that you put in these emails via email. You have the best conversion rate. So whenever you have a new release or something like that, you can email everyone on your email list. Again, it's all free if you use a service like MailChimp, and you'll be surprised at how many people, as you just keep emailing them and build that relationship, give them kind of free music and goodies and things like that, how much these people are willing to kind of spend and support you. And it's a really great feature to have. So, but the point of this is, as I said, I'm getting off topic, but you can just go ahead after you make your form on a service like MailChimp, and you can just go ahead and copy and paste the code that they give you for the form, and it's right there. And then when you refresh, there will be the email sign up right there. Very simple to do, but just something to mention with the widgets. Let's get back to the control panel over here on the left. If we go to pages, click on all pages, just pages right here, it's going to show you a rundown of every single page you have on your website. And these are for the more static pieces of content which aren't going to change. So your about page, your biography, maybe like your press kit, your maybe photos, definitely a contact page where people can reach you, all of your professional email addresses that you want. And you'll see that the sample page, which they already have pre-built in right there, is part of the menu already. So as we add different pages and things like that, then they'll go ahead and be added to your menu. So just all the important stuff that you want basically in every single page of your site, that's what you want to put in here. And let's go down to appearance and maybe change the way this site looks a little bit. So the default themes that come at the time of this video, pre-installed with WordPress, are these three. These are all basically, as I said, they put out one a year, and they include them with the last few with your installation. And we can delete the ones that we're not using by clicking on them and hitting delete down in the bottom right corner, and just kind of clean house a little bit. But let's go ahead and add a new theme. If we click up there, this is going to take us to a big list of free themes. There are thousands and thousands of free and premium, that is, for pay options as far as themes go in WordPress. There's a lot of third-party sites like Theme Forest and things like that, which I recommend. But the free themes can be just as good. If you find what you're looking for, then that's great. Most sites I use free themes. The one right here on Music Guy Online uses a free theme. So definitely, you could probably find what you want in these. Let's go ahead and search for band, maybe, see what we come up with. And we got this cool rock band looking one here. I kind of like the black theme right there, but you can see they just kind of give you a preview of what it looks like. And if you click on it, you can kind of get an idea of what it might look like if you install it. And if you click left or right on the arrows, you get ideas of a few of the different themes and how they look. Let's go ahead and just install this rock band one. We're not going to get too in the weeds here. It's pretty straightforward, all of this. It's pretty intuitive, WordPress is. You don't have to have really any kind of technical background to get the most out of WordPress and get the results that you want. You can see it's pretty simple. I mean, we're just clicking buttons right here, and I activated the theme. And I guess this is probably a child theme of the other theme. Yeah, right. So this is like the overarching theme basically, and it had to install along with this one to get this one to work. Basically, you'll have that every now and then. But basically, this one is installed now. So if let's just go back to our tab we already had open. Let's refresh it, and look, completely different. Looking pretty cool. And all we did is change the theme. So we can change that background. Let's go ahead and click Customize here. This is a relatively new feature, the Customize tab right here, the last few years. But this really simplifies everything, and the difference being that in the past you would have to use, all of these controls over here. Now with the Customize, you can see these changes in real time, which is really nice. So you can see, whatever the difference is in what you've done and whether you like it or not. And you can see this tagline here. It shows up there. You don't even have to display the tagline if you don't want. Or I guess you can get rid of both if you have your own icon if you want right here. So actually that might be the favicon, the thing that shows up here. But the header image, we can change that somewhere else. So in which case, it would be the logo right up here. So if you have a logo, then you can go ahead for your band. You can go ahead and upload that with this theme at least, by clicking that right there and selecting it from your hard drive. So we're just going to leave. I kind of like that font that they have just by default, but I'm going to get rid of that tagline. And anytime you make a change, if you want it to save, you click Publish, and the changes have been saved. Let's see what else we can do. Background image. I'm assuming we can kind of change that there. The header media. Oh, that would be part of the header, I guess. So they give you a few by default with this theme. Again, if you go ahead and have your own maybe group photo or something like that, that would look really cool here. Or if you just have like a really nice detailed version of your logo or a secondary logo, you could put that here. And other thing to mention with the logo is obviously this would be more of a wordmark logo. They call a logo right there, but nice wordmark would look good there. But if you also have maybe like just, a straight ahead square kind of logo or something like that, that's what you would maybe want to have as your background, possibly. And then that's what you could also have up here as your icon, quote unquote. It's called a favicon, but that's what that is, in case you were wondering, that you always see up in the tabs for each website that you have. Menus, let's see. We have the primary section, which I guess would be up there for the menus, and then the footer. So you can have two separate menus with this theme, which is kind of cool. So you can maybe, if you want to show some different stuff down here, maybe this is where you want to put kind of the more technical, like your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, things like that. These are pages that, obviously aren't going to wow your visitors, but search engines like to see that because they like to know that you're taking your visitors' privacy seriously. So it's good to have the terms and the privacy policy and all that kind of stuff. And then you can drop it down here in the footer section of your menu. You can put your social links there as well, your Facebook link and your Twitter and Instagram, whatever you got going on. And you can even create a new menu. I guess maybe we don't have one custom that we can put up there yet, but if you create a new menu, then you can just pick and choose whatever pages you've made and drag and drop them in. It's very simple. I'll show you that in a second. And then this is the widgets section that I was talking about. And here's our widgets over here on the right hand side. And you can see recent comments. We have no posts, otherwise it would show up there. I didn't add anything to the custom HTML, but I think if we just add some random letters, it's going to show up right there. So that's that. And of course the search box, which I mentioned. So if you did have your email sign up form, then you would definitely want to have it right there, probably at the top. Then that's going to show up pretty much on every single page. You can pick and choose how that shows up. But you definitely want that super visible for everyone, along with that search bar. Those are the two probably big ones that you want to have. And then like the other things, recent posts, you probably want to have that on there for your latest updates on every single page. And then comments, that kind of encourages people to leave comments when they see that there are recent comments visible there. So they'll be more encouraged to leave comments when they know that, you're showing those and sharing those with other people. And you can change what your homepage displays. You can just have a static, like an about page or your biography, or maybe you've just announced like a new tour or something like that, in which case maybe you just want to have a static page with maybe just one nice, a lot of bands just have like one huge image which shows all their tour dates and that kind of thing, and then you can have links to where to get tickets for all that stuff below it. Or maybe you have a new album coming out and you can have the album art and everything like that, and links to where they can pick that up or pre-order it, all that stuff. I'm going to leave it on the latest posts. Again, it says nothing found because we haven't made any posts yet. But then you get on the nitty-gritty of the theme options here. And a lot of different things going on here. I mean, you can make a slider. I don't have the slider on, but obviously you've probably seen sliders on different websites before. And you can pick and choose which pages show up on the slider. And then you can choose the image that goes along with it. And then just on its own, this will, flip between page and page. So if you have all your most important stuff, maybe, your tour dates, you'll have that right there, front and center when people get to your site. And then that can slide over to maybe like a contact page or a merchandise page, something like that. So the slider, very nice to have, but with this theme, very simple to integrate on your site just like that. And most of this is pretty straightforward, but not that you can pick your default layout. Obviously, if you on the homepage, you can get rid of the sidebar altogether, which we'll probably get rid of that. So there you go. I don't know why you'd want to do that, given what I just said about the email marketing, things like that. But again, I mean, if you were going for like promoting your latest merch or tour dates or anything like that, maybe you just want to drive all focus to the page itself, in which case you want to get rid of that sidebar. We'll leave that on for now. And let's see, anything else that we want to look at here? Let's go back and go to, let's publish that. Go back to the kind of regular controls of the site here. So we published it. We can click the X to get back to our control panel now, or back to our main site. We can get back to our control panel from the main site with this kind of drop down menu here. We'll click dashboard here. And let's see, let's go to appearance and menus very quickly. And I'm going to open up a new tab for pages as well. And let's just call this the main menu. Simple enough. And now let's add one more page. Let's just call this, as soon as it loads, let's call this merch. And then we'll add, it's hard to see that. I have to change with the color scheme, but I'm not gonna worry about that now. Let's just say this page is for our latest merch. Check back soon. Check back soon. And let's publish that. And you can see visibility. You can schedule it. Sorry, publish immediately. You can schedule it for the future if you want. You can publish it immediately. You can even retroactively publish it. So if you want to put it at some point in the past for whatever reason, you can do that as well, and the date will reflect that. But we're good to publish this immediately. So now if we refresh our menu page, we should see that merch. All right, so let's add both of these to the menu. And it has the display location. Let's have this as the primary. You can tick this if you want to automatically add new top level pages. So if I made, let's go ahead and click that. Let's click Save Menu. And let's go back to the site. And look, just like that, we have our merch and our sample page. You can see our menu has been started to populate here. And if we click on the merch, it'll take us to the merch page right there. All right, let's see. Let's add one more page. Click Add New right here. And let's call this Tour Dates. Check back for our latest dates. Just go ahead and publish that right now. And you can integrate different kind of tour services with this to automatically reflect, and there's different plugins for that. We'll get to plugins in just a moment. That's probably the last big thing we need to cover. But things like Songkick and things like that, you can definitely integrate those so that your latest tour dates get updated and refreshed and everything like that. And again, you can have links to everywhere they can buy tickets, to the different cities and things like that. It's pretty cool. A lot of it's on autopilot for you, and most of the stuff is free as well. So, all right, so because we ticked the automatically add new top level pages, I think if we just refresh this, because we just published this tour dates one, we refresh this, we should see the tour dates. There they are. And let's refresh this too, just to show the tour dates here, and you'll see also the menu structure. Everything is drag and drop simple. We can change the order. We can, if you go in a little bit, you can see that becomes like a sub item of the thing above it. And I think if we now refresh this here, you can see we have a drop down with tour dates under merch. That makes no sense, obviously, but just for example's sake, very simple. And you could add posts if you had them, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, you could add that to your menu. But generally, this is for the static things that aren't changing, and that's what pages are mostly about. So yeah, simple to add things to your menu, simple to feature menus. And as I said, this theme lets you put them at the top or the bottom. And let's see, what else did I want to do? Let's refresh this just in case. Close all the other tabs. And let's go down, let's see, settings. You have some basic site information here in your settings. There's a tagline that we got rid of. You can change your URL if you want WordPress to be sort of like an extension, like maybe it's /WordPress or something. Obviously, we just want, in this case, we just want WordPress to run the whole site. So that's why I'm leaving it as the top level, and it mirrors the site address right there. You can change your email address. You can make new users. Obviously, that'd be under the users right here. But you can change the new user role. Different roles obviously have different permissions. You can change that if you want. So maybe you just want some people to be able to make a post or a page or something like that and not change the actual look or feel of the site. You could definitely make that type of role for someone and then only give them those permissions. So that's pretty handy as you create kind of a hierarchy of what people can do on your site. Let's just take a quick peek at these other ones. Writing, you're not going to worry about too much. At least I never do. The reading, you get back to what do you want on your home page. That was in the customize. You'll remember you could do your static page. Like the home page, you can have a static post page, or you just leave it ticked as your latest post, and you can choose how many different blog posts you show on the main page if you have this ticked. And you can show the full post, you can show just a summary, and there's that discourage, we don't want to tick that. Let's check discussion. So this is about comments and just sort of the permissions and rules for comments. You can go over that. Media is kind of the defaults on things that you upload to your site. Images, things like that. The different like thumbnail, medium size, things like that. Permalinks is the last thing I want to check out, and I recommend that you click post name structure, because you'll see I think I made, when it made a page for the site earlier, tour dates, it was saying like PHP before. I don't think there's, I think it looks much cleaner when you just have it ticked at post name. It's also much friendlier from a search engine optimization point of view. So you'll have a better chance at ranking well when you have a nice clean structure and basically your URL is reflecting what the name of your post or your page is. So that's a whole nother thing to get into for another time, but definitely tick the post name as your default structure right there. All right, so let's head over to plugins now. So this is the last thing that we should cover really in depth in this WordPress tutorial for setting up your own band website. And plugins are basically apps for your site which give it more functionality. So we have the theme obviously, which covers a lot of that stuff. But anytime there's something that you can't do just by virtue of creating content or the widgets or the theme itself, that's where plugins come in. And there's thousands, just like themes, there's thousands and thousands of free and premium plugins to give you virtually any kind of functionality that you want. So let's see, let's get rid of this default one. That's just a bit of fun that comes with the with every new WordPress installation. But one that you definitely want to keep is the Akismet anti-spam. And to activate it, you have to create an account. It's all automated. I mean, it goes through the motions basically if you click that. But this does keep your site from being overrun by spam comments, people leaving. It basically polices the comments that people leave. So it makes sure they're not leaving links in comments, and if they do, it holds it for your review, and you can set it to hold all comments for your review and things like that. Just basically keeping your site safer and looking better and not having people spam your site. So that's the only one that comes preloaded that's of any use. And now let's go ahead and add some more which are very useful. And these are all free, mind you. And see, we have a number of kind of default ones that they have right here. But let's go ahead and do a search for a few that I recommend. First, we have Back WordPress Up, which is a backup plugin for your WordPress installation. And this is gonna save all of your posts, your page content, basically everything that you've created on your site will be done right here. So you can have it. Let's just go ahead and click install. This is one I recommend. There's lots of ones that you can check out. Updraft, another great one, obviously. And they have ratings for every single one, which is really nice. Shows you how many people are using it, when it was last updated, and just lots of really reliable and great information to depend on here. But after you have your WordPress backup plugin, go ahead and click install, click activate, and this will probably take us to its individual page, or yeah, it will. So most of them will send you will email you backups every week or with whatever consistency that you want. But I'm not going to get into the weeds on any of these plugins right now in terms of looking at them. I'm just going to give an overview of what you want and things like that. But you definitely want to have the backup one and sending you kind of weekly ones. If you ever do have a problem, you need to, for whatever reason, just kind of import a previous kind of version of WordPress right here. That's how you do that without any issue. Jetpack is an interesting one. It's kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of these smaller things that I'm covering. So you can check that out if you'd like. Some people love it, some people hate it. So I'm not going to go over it right now, but you can definitely get into that because there's just so many things you can do with it. But anyway, all right. What else? I want to mention EWW. Image. You can see I've searched for a lot of these before because I do use these. Image Optimizer is another good one, and I'm gonna stop installing them, but you can kind of see what we got going on here. Basically, it speeds up your website, which is another part of ranking well, and you want to create a better user experience for the people who come to your website, and this is a good way of doing it. So anytime you upload an image, this will basically create an optimized version of that image, which really doesn't have any drop off in terms of quality, but it's much more compressed, and it'll keep your site running nice and efficiently, as opposed to not using this and having lots of bloated images on your site, which are making pages load much more slowly and things like that. So definitely check that out. Let's see. Let's go Google Analytics. Another one I've done before, you can see. And Google Analytics is free software from Google and basically gives you an eye on the behind-the-scenes statistics and analytics for, the words right there, of your websites. You can see how many people have visited your website, how they're interacting with your website, which is even more important. So if everyone is showing up to your site or a certain page or something like that and just exiting immediately, then you might be, wondering why that is. You could take a closer look at that, figure out what about your content is not keeping people around, and so much more from, I mean, that's just scratching the surface, but there's so much more going on with that. But you can create a free Google Analytics account, and then you can tie it to your WordPress site without having to worry about any code, just by using this plugin right here. And then this gives you information right here from your dashboard, so that you don't have to log into Google Analytics itself to get insights on your site. So another great one to keep in mind. I'm going to go login lockdown next. Another one I recommend, brute force hacking is basically when someone just tries thousands and thousands of different login combinations to break into your site. So they'll go to that WordPress, or I'm sorry, in this case it would be relativeviews.com/wp-admin. And if I wasn't signed in, it would have the sign-in screen that we saw earlier. And someone who was trying to break into our site would just throw thousands of combinations until, just by process of elimination, they got it right. And weak passwords are obviously especially susceptible to this, which is why you want a good password. But in addition to that, you also want a plugin like Login Lockdown, because it limits the number of attempts from a given IP range that someone can use to try to get into your site. There's plenty of other plugins which do that, but that's just one which I've used in the past and can recommend. So check that out. Let's see. Let's go next. Scripts. This one is called Snap, sort of an acronym for Social Networks Auto Poster. And there's probably better versions of this by now. I know Jetpack has a feature where this does it for you. But as you can see from the description, it automatically publishes blog posts and updates that you make on your website to your Facebook or Twitter, Instagram. So it's basically a big time saver, so that you don't have to go in and update each one of those every time you make an update on your website. It just does that for you automatically on all your social networks. So it's a big time saver, and it helps to keep your social networks looking active and busy, which is a good look to always have. And let's see, Optimize Database is another efficiency one, similar to the Image Optimizer, but this just goes ahead and cleans up your database every now and then. As it says, it's a one-click WordPress database cleaner / optimizer. This one's especially push-button simple. Just gets rid of sort of old revisions and versions of old posts that you're not using anymore. Because by default, WordPress keeps a lot of backups of every post that you've made, so you can always revert in case you want to go back to an older version of something. But that's just a good plugin for keeping your site clean and running as quickly and efficiently as possible. And let's see, do Pretty Links. And Pretty Links is not going to be needed by everyone, but basically it just it simplifies links that you can make. So let's say, for instance, maybe let's say that you sell your merch through a particular maybe like merchandise vendor or something like that, and you create a link to that vendor on your site for your merch section, and all over your site you've made lots of these merchandise links. And then one day you say, oh wait, we can get a better deal with this other merchandise vendor. Well, now you'd have to go in and update like hundreds of links potentially on your website, maybe in your email marketing, on your social networks. Instead, if you just use Pretty Links and just do maybe relativeviews.com/merch or something like that, then you can just go ahead and switch out the destination link using Pretty Links, and then you can just keep that relativeviews.com/merch link untouched. So really, instead of changing 1,000 links, you'd only have to change the one right here, if you get my drift. So it can save you a ton of time, and yeah, pretty simple. And it makes your links look simpler and cleaner in a lot of cases too. So just another one I recommend. We're coming up on the end here. Really simple SSL is for the secure version of your site. Most hosts give you basically free SSL capability. That's secure sockets, but basically it's just the HTTPS. It's the S in the secure version of a site, which most search engines are looking for. So, as I said, most of this is done before you behind the scenes by your hosting provider these days at the time of this video. Didn't always used to be the case, but now it is. So with WordPress, it's pretty simple. You just need to install this particular plugin, which I can recommend, and activate it. And it's pretty straightforward, and it just offers up the HTTPS version of your website to everyone who comes versus the unsecured version. So search engines will love that. It'll put your visitors' minds at ease, and it's just the way the internet's basically moving. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And let's see, I think there's only a couple left here. Yeah, 2 more. W3. This is a caching plugin. That one's animated. That's interesting. Actually, I'm going to type cache right here because there's a couple different ones which a lot of people use. Super cache I've used in the past down there, but the W3 total cache, basically what this does is create a cached version of your website and serves that up to people instead of having to load your website fresh every single time someone comes to your website. So basically, once you make your website and you have your posts and everything, not much changes on a daily basis in terms of the content. So the cached version is sort of that saved version, and it serves that up, as I was saying, to anyone who comes to your site, which is a lot faster than loading the whole thing from scratch every time. So that's sort of the basic idea of what a caching plugin does. It's just about improving efficiency for your website, and you definitely want to have one installed. And again, these are pretty much click, set, and forget simple, and it's just doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work for you. And some of these are even simpler. You can see the fastest cache right there, very well reviewed. So, you can do some research on that, but definitely have a caching plugin. And the last thing I want to mention is Yoast SEO. And I mentioned a bit about search engine optimization earlier. That is what SEO stands for. And this is a plugin which just basically simplifies the whole process of making sure your website is optimized for search engines. So every time that you make a new post, a new page, there's going to be a little Yoast SEO section as you create a new page. And we can go ahead and install it. I can show you this as we finish off here. And just activate it once it's done. And this one it's pretty frequently updated. It's probably it may be the most popular plugin on WordPress with 5 million plus installations. It's got a perfect rating practically. So let's go ahead and activate it. Now, if we go ahead, let's edit our tour date page. So now where it just used to be the tour dates and everything like that, now let's see if we refresh this. We really do need to change that color scheme. Now we have this Yoast SEO section you can see down here at the bottom, and we have this focus key phrase. And this is basically just the keyword that we're targeting when we put out a new page or a post or something like that. So it's not quite as important in some niches like having a music website or something like that. But, if you have like a new record out or something like that, whatever the name of it is, maybe that will be your focus key phrase. And then this page will have a much better chance of ranking for that keyword whenever someone searches for it. And in the search engine, so if they search for whatever your album's name is in Google, there's much better chance when you fill out all these fields that Yoast has prepared for you with this keyword phrase in mind, whatever your album title is in this example, then there's a much better chance that this page in particular will show up atop Google for that search, basically, which means they'll come to your website, they'll find your record easily, they'll buy it through whatever outlet that you mention on your site, and that's basically just a quick example of the importance of SEO, but there you go nonetheless. And let's just say our album title, and so let's just say that's our key phrase for whatever reason. And you'll see they even give you an SEO score, and if you click down on the analysis, they'll give you all the things that are wrong and why you're not going to have a good chance of ranking for that keyword. Like no outbound links appear, no internal links. The keyword, obviously our album title, is not in the paragraph. I didn't write anything. Obviously there's really no content on this except latest dates, but probably be better if I called this relative youth tour dates. Let's just say that. And with that in mind, we probably maybe want to change it to relative youth tour dates right there, and check back for the latest relative youth tour dates. All right, so a couple of those disappeared because we obviously changed the content around a little bit to better fit the keyword that we are targeting. So basically that's simple. That's how you do SEO, and the plugin makes everything very simple. You just follow the instructions and you have peace of mind of knowing that your content is optimized for the search engines. So that's basically it. That's sort of your quick crash course on WordPress. As you can see, everything is super simple. We've created, we added a theme, which looks good with our music. We can change that image out to reflect our music. We created a menu system up here. I went over a lot of the important plugins. We know how to create new pages and posts. And yeah, it's all pretty straightforward in WordPress. And the best thing is, because this software is so popular, there is a huge support network for any problems you might have. So anytime you run into a problem, you just do a quick search engine search for whatever your issue is. You will find probably dozens and dozens of people who have had the exact same problem as you, and you'll have the solution right there in front of you. All right? So that's what I recommend for getting your music-based website up and running. Thank you very much for watching the rest of this tutorial. Please subscribe, follow along, and don't forget to check out Music Guy online for more tips and tutorials in all things music industry. Thanks for watching.